long before history was written in books, before humankind built walls of stone or gave names to the distant stars, there existed beings of immense power and primordial essence. They were the stone gods, forged from the very earth and brought to life by a single cosmic breath. With hands that could mold mountains and voices that could whisper storms into the sky, they were the architects of the world. And from their sacred dust, stirred by the winds of creation, the first humans were born. They were our makers, our guardians, our silent observers. But as is the way with children, humanity learned pride. We saw the world not as a gift, but as a kingdom to be conquered. And with every step we took away from gratitude, the gods began to crumble. Their stone bodies cracked, their ancient voices faded. But in the final twilight of their age, one girl was born, not to conquer, but to remember them. In the Valley of Silence, a place where strange, colossal statues lay half-buried in the soft green earth, lived a young hunter named Aya. She was different from the others. While her tribe hunted for meat to fill their bellies, Aya hunted for something more elusive, answers. She was a child who could hear the stones breathe. She would press her ear against the cool, weathered rock, feeling the faint, ancient pulse within, and whisper, "Tell me what you remember. Tell me of the beginning." The other children would mock her. The elders would shake their heads, but Aya persisted.
How?
She knew the stones held the memory of the world, a story that was being forgotten. And one fateful day, as a storm gathered over the peaks, the stones finally answered. Night fell, and the sky tore itself open with a flash of raw power. Lightning struck the face of the great mountain that watched over the valley, and for a fleeting moment, a pattern glowed against the rock. It wasn't just a random crack, it was a face. A face as old as the earth itself, weary and broken, but undeniably alive. The stone god spoke, its voice not a sound in the air, but a rumble in Aya's very bones. "The time of balance is ending," it thundered. "Man has forgotten his makers. You have taken our breath and turned it into arrogance." Aya, trembling before the magnificent, fading apparition, found a strength she didn't know she possessed. "Then I will remind them," she declared, her small voice cutting through the wind. The god's luminous eyes seemed to dim with a profound sadness. "You carry our breath now, little one. It is a spark of our soul. Protect it. Before the fire of your kind consumes all, as the light in the mountain faded completely." Aya instinctively touched her heart. Beneath her palm, a faint warm glow pulsed in time with her own heartbeat. That fire came sooner than anyone expected. As men learned to tame the flame, they forgot the warmth of gratitude. Fire was no longer just for light and heat. It became a tool for change, for power. They learned to shape metal into weapons, to melt the very stones that had once given them shelter and shade. The whispers of the stone gods, which had once filled the wind, turned silent. The sky above felt vast and empty. But Aya could still hear them. In the quiet moments, she could hear their sorrow crying through the cracks of the earth, a mournful song of betrayal. The world was changing, and the gods were dying. Power, even the memory of it, breeds fear. The tribe's leader, a strong and proud hunter named Tarek, saw the faint glow that sometimes emanated from Aya's chest. He saw how she spoke to the rocks, and shunned the tribe's new fascination with fire and conquest. He couldn't understand her connection to the old ways, and what he couldn't understand he feared. Tara called Aya a curse, a witch who held a forbidden power that threatened their new world. He rallied the tribe against her, their faces hardened by suspicion. They seized her and dragged her back to the mountains, to the very source of her strange gift, determined to silence the last voice of the gods for good. With shouts and accusations, they cast her into a deep, dark pit, a fissure in the earth. As she fell into the suffocating darkness, the echoes of their fear surrounded her. Alone, bruised but unbroken, Aya whispered into the dark, her voice resonating against the cold rock. "If they won't hear the gods, then let the earth speak for them." The mountain heard her. It felt her pain as its own. Deep within its core, a low, powerful rumble began, the dormant breath of the forgotten, stirred from its slumber. The cracks in the cave around Aya began to glow with an intense, molten light. Ancient stone figures, the slumbering gods themselves, began to move. Their bodies, now made of living fire and shifting rock, rose from their earthen tombs. Their glowing eyes opened, and their collective voice shook the very foundations of the world. Lava flowed like tears down their stone cheeks. Aya, bathed in their awesome light, stood before them, the mark on her heart now glowing as brightly as the heart of the mountain itself. "You gave us life," she said, her voice filled with reverence, not fear. "Now give us wisdom." The titans of the earth inclined their massive heads. "Then carry our flame," they boomed in unison. "Not to destroy, but to remember." When Aya climbed from the pit, she was transformed. The valley was scarred, but she was whole. Our eyes burned with a soft golden light, the fire of ancient wisdom. She walked back towards her village. The tribe saw her coming and fell back in awe and terror. They expected retribution, a storm of fire and rock to punish them for their betrayal. But Aya did not seek revenge. She walked into the center of the circle they had formed and offered them fire. Not the fire of war and destruction they had come to know, but the fire of memory. She knelt and began to draw in the sand, her fingers tracing the sacred symbols of the stone gods, telling their story, their truth. As she spoke, the people gathered closer, their fear melting away into wonder. For the first time, man learned to worship without fear, to be proud without arrogance, and to remember their origins. The stone gods, their last message delivered, their last breath given, turned back to dust, their energy returned to the earth. Aya, now a wise old woman, sat beside a sleeping volcano, the last echo of their power. As the sun set, the mountains seemed to exhale one final, gentle plume of steam, a sigh of peace. The gods were gone from the world of form, but their breath, their spirit, now lived on in every human heart. It is the spark of creation, the call to wonder, the strength of the earth beneath our feet. So when you gaze into a fire, when you feel the ground tremble, or when you stand in the shadow of a great mountain, listen closely. You just might hear their eternal whisper. Remember us, because some stories aren't written in books, they're carved in the earth. If this story spoke to the ancient part of your soul, show your support by liking this video. Share your thoughts on what it means to remember in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Share this with the dreamers and storytellers in your life, and be sure to subscribe for more cinematic legends from the dawn of time. Thank you for watching.